quiet, as life has been kind of in 2020, more or less. But as I've been moving through my working from home journey, I've decided to invest in a proper table for all of my art supplies, which might surprise you about how much I have. I went to art school, that's why. I was going to be an animator, that's why. I did not become an animator, but I still have artsy dreams. I still do illustration stuff on the side, and I would like to do that more on a full-time basis. So in order to do that, I've taken the money from all of my side gigs that I've been doing, and I invested in a desk, which the desk I got from IKEA. I wanted a tall desk so that I can stand and work, or that I can sit on a high chair and work, because I was using my computer desk, but it's very low and it was messing up my back, and the chiropractor said I should stop doing that. So I got a high desk, and I got it from IKEA for about, it was very cheap. The tabletop was like 5,000 yen, so like 50 bucks. The legs were 1,000 yen each, so 4 of those, so less than 100 bucks for the whole table. And yeah, now I'm going to show you some of my art supplies that I've been collecting for years. Some of them might not be in the best working condition, but I'm using them anyway, because we do not let things go to waste. So as you can imagine, buying art supplies in Japan, a little tricky, just because I watch a lot of the art videos on YouTube and I see the supplies that people are using, and then when I try to find them here, they're often very expensive. I know for a while everyone was using Arteza. Arteza only very recently became available in Japan. I want to say like within the last few months. Before that, you had to order it through another an Amazon outside of Japan and try to send it here, which they weren't allowing. Now you can buy it, but you can only buy like a 5-pack of sketchbooks, or I feel like a lot of the paints are not available here, which is fine because I have a bunch of other ones anyway. I keep all of my art supplies in the little red drawer that you will have seen earlier. For the most part, I basically work exclusively in watercolor. Kind of. I have gouache too, but I'm not very good at it, so I just don't use it that much. The watercolor set that I got, I think it's the first one I got in Japan, was called a petite color set. It's disgusting looking right now, but it's very cheap. It was like 30 bucks. I've been using it. It has 24 colors, I believe. It's got the little thumb thingy in the back. I've had this for at least 2 or 3 years. As you can see, I don't paint as often as I should. So it's still got some life in it. The colors are pretty vibrant. What's something that I painted with this set? I think a lot of the pictures in this sketchbook were done with the petite color set. So like you can get pretty vibrant if you want. So yeah, that's the first that's the watercolor palette that I used the most up until recently, which they sell at the most major art store, I think, in Japan. At least in this area, there are several of them. It's called Kawachi. Have a point card, get little stamps. At the Kawachi, they do have this palette. The second palette that I got this year, which I have used, that's a motorcycle. I haven't used a super bunch a lot. What's English? I haven't used it that much, but I'm trying to use it more because I've seen a lot of people on the YouTube with it, and it's very cheap. It's like, I think this one was one of the like $10 sets. The Kansai Tanbi watercolor set from Kuretake, which is a Japanese brand. It kind of works like watercolor, but also not really. The quality, it's just works a little bit different. Do I have anything that I painted with the Kuretake? Oh, so this one is with the Kuretake. So you can see that the darks, so dark, which is great. I really like how dark the darks come out, but you can't really mix with them. They don't like mixing so well. I think this was a combination of kuretake and my other sets, also this. Basically, I kind of use the kuretake when I want a really dark color, or if I'm using one of the colors from that palette without mixing it, because then the color is amazing. And then I also got some gold containers, separate pieces. All of those come out because the way that you're supposed to use them according to Japanese YouTube is by dumping water into the little container, mixing it with the brush, and then dumping the color out into a separate palette, which is, you can see here, I put water into those tiny pans, mix it around a bit until I got like a nice mixture, and then I dump it out in these. So now I have these kinds of, it's like a separate pan of color, but I can mix these without worrying about fucking up my original container, which is smart. I wish I'd known that before I started using them. It messed up, but it's fine. They're easy to clean. So I have the petite color, Kansai Tambi, and the newest one that I got, which is the most expensive one. Let me go find it. Okay, so the most expensive and most recently purchased palette that I have is the Van Gogh palette, which I got at Kawachi, the art store. It costs about, I want to say like 5,000 yen, so about 50 bucks. These are, I think this is the first professional watercolor set that I've gotten. Maybe, I don't remember. I'm supposed to be doing better at, considering the quality of the paints that I buy, but I'm still a noob when it comes to traditional medium because I went to a technical school, so we didn't really have any art classes that dealt with the traditional medium. We worked basically, I was a 2D animation major, so I had to actually animate on paper, but we had a lot of classes that were like 3D animation and 3D modeling and using Photoshop and stuff. So I didn't really get a chance to learn any traditional mediums in college. I only started picking up watercolor basically after I came to Japan, and I wanted to keep drawing for fun. Now I want to draw for serious. So that's why we're here. That's why I'm showing you my fun stuff. So yeah, this is the first grown-up watercolor palette that I've purchased. It's only got the 12 colors. See, I've kind of messed it up already. It's kind of messy, but I really like how the colors turn out on this one. For example, what did I paint recently? Painted something, and then I stashed it away from myself. Yeah. So this one I used this watercolor kit, and then I used some color pencils, which is the first time I've used color pencils together with the watercolors, because I don't know, it hadn't occurred to me to do that until I saw someone do it on YouTube. When I tell you, YouTube has changed my life, I mean it, in more than one way. So yeah, those are all of those palettes you can buy at art stores in Japan. I don't know how they compare with their prices in other countries because I don't bother to torture myself with markups. That's just how life is. But I will say that I have a hard time shopping for watercolor and gouache in Japan because the way they term watercolor is suisai-ga, which is just watercolor. But they also have like half transparent, and then they call it non-transparent, opaque watercolors, I think is what they call gouache, which is futomei suisai-gai. But they don't really have a lot of gouache brands, so the only gouache that I have is the Himi set, which was very cheap. It was like 2,000 yen, but it dried out, and I've been trying to get it to gel up, and it kind of works sometimes, and then it just dries out again. It's mostly just dry for the most part now, so I don't use it. And I had gotten that so I could practice gouache painting more without stressing out about it, because the gouache that I do have, it's kind of expensive, so I don't want to use it on a crappy painting. So then I just don't paint in gouache. The only other art supplies that I do really use, aside from the watercolor, are paint pens, which I don't actually use that much. I use them to like decorate notebooks. But these pens you can buy them anywhere. They sell them at stationery stores usually. So you don't actually have to go to an art store to find them. You could just get them from a stationery store. And then I have some color pencils that I got recently. And then I have watercolor pencils, which I got ages ago. I put the money out for a nice Faber Castell, I don't know how to say it, set, because in my head I guess in my head I thought it was going to be easier to use than a watercolor palette. I don't know why I thought that, but I've had it for a few years and it's mostly unused, as you can tell by the size of everything's still kind of the same size because I don't use it. But I do like it. Like, the colors are really nice. I think I used my petite color for this. Like, I like them, but I can never get the colors to be even enough. Like, once you put the water on top of the watercolor pencil, I feel like all of the grains move out toward the edge, so the inside gets really light, but the edges are really dark, and then I hate it, and then I don't want to work on it anymore. And then lastly, we have color pencils. I got these on sale. They were originally like 6,000 yen, which is like 55 bucks, 60 bucks for color pencils, but they were on sale for 30. So I got them, and they seem very nice. Very nice quality, very smooth writing. You can tell they blend very nicely on top of the watercolor, so I'm excited to use them a lot more with watercolor things. So yeah, those are the art supplies. I got them all in Japan because that's where I live. And yeah, I do illustrations for people here, mostly other non-Japanese businesses. So I did some illustrations for a friend's school. I'm doing some illustration for my friend's group. And yeah, I'm trying to move more into that, but it's hard because there is there are handmade bazaars for people that make their own things, and you can like buy a table and set up and sell your wares. But those kinds of handmade bazaars are for like bags and accessories. I feel like paintings, drawings, not so much. So I'm not really sure where I'm gonna go, how I'm gonna go about doing art stuff in Japan. For now, I'm just drawing stuff and putting it on the internet. Of course, I will keep doing travel videos. I have a crap ton of travel videos, but right now I just felt like making a video about art stuff because basically that's all I watch on YouTube is videos about art stuff. So it's kind of something that I've always wanted to do, but I know my channel kind of started as a Japan channel. Honestly, Japan gets old and I get sick of editing videos about just the stuff that I do in Japan. It's just not as interesting as it was 10 years ago because I've been here for 10 years. So I hope you will bear with me as I start sharing more artsy stuff. I will continue sharing more Japansy stuff. I would appreciate any continued support. If you're new and you have enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe or hit the like button. And yeah, I will have a travel video coming up probably sometime later this week because I feel like I will edit this up really quickly and just drop it on the internet somewhere. So I will see you guys again in the next video. Bye!